Now that you know the proper stretching routines, we will turn to the proper breathing for all the exercises to follow. For this tape, we will be using the Ultra Shaper high-low pulley machine.
Hey. How's it going?
Filming.
An experimental film.
We all do it all the time. 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 We all do it all the time.
I need one more fucking ice!
At work, at home, and in every other part of our life. We do it without thinking about it. We take it for granted. Like breathe like.
He started!
VAR has an effective range of up to 1,500 yards, meaning in the hands of the right infantryman, if he could see an enemy soldier up to 15 football fields away, he could shoot and kill him.
Order! On! Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a dirty, filthy, disgusting, terrifying, nasty, bloody job. Killing and death are timeless and universal. But humanity needed them to do it, and hundreds of thousands of them died. What's about to happen in front of you is exceptionally dangerous. But now's your chance to get some really cool pictures and video.
whole disposition like.
Need some sunshine on your face.
Just a ride.
Please complete me.
And let's dance rather than beat the shit out of each other. And we do come from Texas.
Need some sunshine on your face.
And things for you too, just to warm you up and get you in. Welcome to the Ben Franklin Craft Show. I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate you all joining in for all the fun. We have so much to show you once again, and it's getting to be that special time of year when we break into a little bit of Christmas, but we're going to do some Thanksgiving things for you too, just to warm you up and get you into the season. And with me, I have Stephanie Barrington. Stephanie, I'm so glad you're doing this. It's taken a little bit of talking. Stephanie is our floral designer at the Willow Lawn Store, and some of these pieces you see on the walls here are some things that Stephanie has done, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that pretty? Wouldn't that look great on your Thanksgiving table? And it just takes a few supplies,
all right,
as you can see, and you've got a little start here, but tell us how you got from there.
Okay.
Take us all the way through it.
I used 2 styrofoam circles, and I used the 7.5 inch circles. You can go larger, you can go smaller, depending
on your table, I guess.
And from here, I did use 2 instead of just 1 because the craft pins that we do need to use to adhere the sheet moss to the foam the pins are a little large for just 1.
Okay.
So, and for these not to slip around each other, I need to use the stickum that we have here. And now, what I need to do is I'm going to cut a small semicircle out of the side of our form here, our base. And this is going to, this notch is going to hold the wheat that you see.
You can use any old knife for this, right?
Right.
Kitchen knife. Boy, this stickum feels sort of like gum. We ought to just sort of set it under the counter here and find it later, huh? We may need it for something. The thing about Stephanie's arrangements are they are almost always very unusual. They're a little bit different. And this is the large bag of wheat. We carry 2 sizes. You could use 2 of the small or 1 of the large, right?
Exactly.
Now, how are you going to hold all that together?
This I'm going to hold together with our waterproof floral tape
wrong
here.
Tape. Here I was all prepared. Thought I was going to help.
That comes later on.
While we're working on this, I'll remind you, give us a call with any of your craft questions on this as well as any other projects we'll be doing. The number is 353-1111. And we'll be happy to take your calls. I had so much fun last time calling in. I've never been able to call in myself. I had a ball calling in. How did you get started doing floral designs?
I started at a Ben Franklin. I worked at a Ben Franklin in South Carolina. And it was really fun. The floral designer there showed me everything, and I just couldn't help but watch.
Let's take Dee's call. Dee, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How about you?
I'm fine.
Good.
Glad Halloween's over, ready for something else.
Yes, exactly.
All right, well, but I have a Halloween question.
Okay.
I tried to find stick-on appliques. I don't know if that's the correct term, but they're like those sequin things that you use to tack it over and over, or tack it again and again, or stick it again and again.
All of the above.
Right. Okay. Can you think of anything else you could use besides sequins? Would it work to use glitter and then put a jeweler's glaze over it?
Oh, absolutely.
That wouldn't make it too stiff?
Well, another thing you can do, Dee, is you can make different pins and pin them scattered all over. I mean, a pin doesn't have to just always go on your shoulder. Pins can go anywhere. Let's take Thelma's call while you're doing that. Okay. Thelma, hi there.
Hi.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Richmond.
Aha. What can we help you with?
I have recently purchased a sweatshirt with the fall foliage leaves on it and the little gold around the leaves.
Yes.
And I washed it for the first time, and some of the leaves have partially started coming off of it, the material. But I really don't know how to do this, and I don't know if I can do anything about it to make it better. What can you suggest? And when I purchased the shirt, the lady told me not to use fabric softener and to turn the shirt wrong side out when I washed it. Is that correct?
Actually, you can use all the fabric softener you want now.
Oh, okay.
All right?
All right, well, thank you very much.
Good question, Thelma. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So tell me what you're doing there.
Now I'm adding the tallow berries.
Let me take Rosemary's call real quick.
Okay.
Rosemary.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good, great. I miss y'all.
Oh, thanks.
I haven't worked out at Mechanicsville for a few weeks now, and I'm just missing everybody and everything so much.
We'll have to get you going again.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, you're quite welcome.
That, you know, you're always kept on your toes this way. And I love it. That's what makes it fun. Tell me how you put those orange slices on there. I was watching, but I didn't hear you explain it. Let me turn it this way a little bit so they can see better.
I just use the hot glue again. And besides, if you didn't want to use the hot glue, you can also use the Lean's Thick Designer's tacky glue.
Okay. Well, let's see how fast we can do that. We'll cut some of that for you.
Sure. I'll use 2 of the longer stems and 1 of the medium stems. I think there's 3 different sizes.
Oh, great. Particular, huh? All right. Well, we're about out of time, and we're going to go to a break in just a moment, but you'd add these onto the side, and
yes,
you can show us how to do that. I think everybody's got the idea. And we're going to go to a break now.
I'm not a hellfire brimstone preacher, but unless a person comes to a realization that they find Christ, they'll be sentenced to eternal hell.
They've held crusade events in over 40 countries. They've held over 9,000 public school assemblies. The Power Team members receive cards and letters from people around the world telling them the message they have brought has changed their lives forever, turning people away from drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and suicide. While these men are on a mission, that mission is of the cross. These are men who have dedicated their lives to reaching this generation to take back what the devil has stolen from them. Maybe you've heard about them. Maybe you've read about them. Folks, they are right here in Gainesville, Florida, tonight.
I just want to clean that answer up. Okay, what do I do? The reason that I do the Power Team is because this is a ministry that appeals to the non-church people. One of the things that I think today in America that the church has lost is the sense of evangelism. That a lot of times when you have an evangelistic meeting, in reality, it does not reach the community. It doesn't reach the unchurchology. And so the Power Team is so important because what it does is it reaches those unchurched people who would normally not go to a church or listen to a preacher in a suit and tie.
So we go into the schools and we teach morals, we teach values that the Bible teaches. We just don't mention the name Jesus or don't really talk a lot about God. We just simply come in there and teach about the basic morals that our founding fathers in the United States grew up with. Say no to drugs, even say no to alcohol, because it's causing so many problems today. I mean, we've labeled it a disease, but it's only a disease that we bottle and sell.
The school hero is not the school drunk.
School hero is not somebody saying, oh, I got so high. Oh man, you should have been, we got so wasted. You know who the school hero is? Is the young people stand up and say, I don't need to get high. I don't need to get drunk. I don't need to prove how tough I am. You know, but we talk about things that kids need to hear. We talk about morality, which is a godly principle. You know, we talk about, having a goal and a dream. We're talking about suicide, drugs and alcohol. We hit some important issues that kids are dealing with today. And yes, it would be nice if we could mention the gospel in the school. I mean, ultimately that would be nice, but what we are doing in the schools is very important. And the message that we're carrying in the schools is very important. Even though that we're not able to preach, we're able to instill some godly values and things that young people need to hear today.
Walked into school not too long ago. A young man just made a tragic mistake. The janitor met us at the front door. He said,
Power team, you should have been here 6 months ago.
He said, you see, I walked into our gymnasium to get the floor ready for the upcoming game. He said, I hit the circuit breaker and the lights began to flicker on.
You see, our star basketball player, the guy who had everything going for him.
But he wasn't practicing or dribbling or shooting as he was sometimes early in the morning.
At 6 o'clock in the morning, we don't know why he did it, but at 6 o'clock in the morning, we opened the gymnasium up. We found him, and he'd taken a rope and he put it around the basketball hoop, and he had hung himself from the basketball hoop.
I said, sir, what do you mean? I thought you said this was your star basketball player. He said, that's right. I said, what happened? Was there actually a problem with his girlfriend or maybe a home problem? What seemed to be the problem? He said, man, no one knows.
He had committed suicide, taken his life because of problems that he was going through that nobody else knew about, even in the school. There might be somebody in this school where you're going through tough times, might it be at home, whatever.
Like I said, we talk about moral character. If we talk on the subject of sex and stuff like that, we more or less talks about the absence of sex and true love waits is really the answer, instead of actually talking like, a minister would actually speak in the schools.
Did you know that in our country today that 6 million, no, not in the world, 6,400,000 people have died of AIDS? Serious problem. Last year, in America, 72,000 new cases of AIDS were documented. And some people say, oh yeah, I know all about that. I heard about that video with Magic Johnson and it talked about safe sex. Let me tell you something, the message of safe sex is a lie. You want to know why? 15% of people who have AIDS got it while practicing safe sex. Because the molecular opening of a condom is 5 times bigger than that of the AIDS virus. That would be like me stretching a volleyball net across this court, taking 5 golf balls, throwing them through the volleyball net, hoping that the volleyball net will knock the golf balls down.
And the first time we went to Russia was 1990. The country was still under communism. 9 months later, the wall came down. And so it was still under communism, the communism rule. And so we went in there, not knowing what we can say. So we went and talked to the superintendent, the guy who was over all the schools, and we said, what do we talk to these kids in Russia about? And he looked at me with a funny look in his face. He goes, well, you're a ministry, aren't you? He goes, why don't you just share your faith in Jesus Christ? We go into communist Russia, in Moscow, do school assemblies, preach the gospel, the church is there to do follow-up, and everything's all, that's fine. Well, next week we go to San Antonio, Texas, to do a big program there, and they make us turn our shirts inside out because on the middle of our shirt it says, God made you to win. Don't play Christian music in our schools, don't. See, it's a problem,
All I'm saying, come on up here real quick. All I'm saying is we're not here to tell anybody what to do. People think, oh, they told us. We're not here to tell you. You can do anything you want to do. But make choices in your life that can make you a winner. Hey, choose to believe in people. Choose to believe in you. Hang out with people who are dream makers, not dream breakers. Beginning this program, everybody said, I want something I want to do. You know what? Be somebody who can accomplish your dream by making the right choices.
So a lot of people would say to me, well, you think prayer is the answer? If they had a prayer put back in our schools, it would be so watered down. It would be a mamby-pamby prayer that would, you know what I mean? And it would be something that would honor every religion.
We want to see each and every one of you come out to the program. I promise you have a good time. Call your friends, call your relatives, whatever. But get out there early to have a good seat.
We're here tonight, Saturday night, and Sunday night at Westside Baptist Church at 7 o'clock. It's a $2 donation, but you know what? If you don't have it, come on out anyway. Ask your parents to come on, bring you out.
Well, you'll come to know real quick when you have a 5 or 6-year-old come up to you and say, that shirt's wrong. That shirt's wrong. It doesn't say the right thing. And you say, what do you mean it doesn't say the right thing? It's supposed to say Austin 3:16, not John. Who's John? And it really breaks your heart. But John 3:16 is the answer to it all. Now, I will say ours does say WWF on the back. But it stands for Worldwide Forgiveness. Amen, that's right. It's a great witness of whether it's our apparel or anybody else's Christian apparel. We have so many kids that can't wear things in school today because they say God on them. But these shirts and any other Christian apparel, we need to have a witness for Christ in our schools today.
You know the 3 saddest words tonight would be if you would walk out of this building and say, I don't need God, and walk away. It's so important that when you hear the call of God in your life, when you feel the tug of your heart, when you hear the call of God, it's so important that you answer the call. There's a guy in the power team who's good friends with a guy by the name of AC Green. And he said when he was a rookie, he was out there shooting baskets, practicing, getting ready for practice. And about 5 minutes before practice started, one of the players came out of the locker room and yelled, AC, you got an emergency phone call. To get this phone call, he had to run out of the building, down a flight of stairs, through a corridor into another building to pick up a payphone. And so as fast as he could, he ran out of the building, went through down the corridor, through the flight of stairs, out into the other building, and picked up the payphone. Guess what he heard? He heard a dial tone. He thought, oh no, they got me. He burst the back doors he was sprinting. He burst the back doors of practice. The head coach, of the Los Angeles Lakers that time was Pat Riley. Pat Riley turned around and looked at him and says, AC, you're late. You're fined $1,000. He wasn't making a lot of money back then, so $1,000 was a lot of money. And he's like, man, I can't believe they pulled this joke on me. They said it was an emergency to get this phone call, and now I just lost $1,000. So he's a little upset. And about halfway through the middle of practice, one of the players kind of whispered to him, and he said, hey, AC, did you get your phone call? Did you get your phone call? And he said, yeah, I got my phone call. One of the star players at that time in the team was a guy by the name of Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson said, oh yeah, AC, you got your phone call. Well, who was it? AC looked down at the ground. He looked back at Magic Johnson, and he says, you know who it was? It was my Heavenly Father, and he wants to talk to you. A lot of people, when they come see the power team, don't know if we're the WWF or the Ringlings Brothers Circus or a tractor pull. They don't know, number one question asked, is there a need? Is there a cause? Turn on CNN News. How many people would agree that there is a need and there is a cause for the power team today? One of the first questions people ask is, well, that's all good and everything, but I wonder how much money that you got paid for being in our city this week. I bet you they paid you a lot. I want you to know something. For us being here in our night programs, we're not guaranteed one penny. Now, don't get me wrong. The church, within a year in advance, planned to have the power team in. So many people have worked so hard and gave money for the local expenses. But for us to be here, we come by faith. One of the things that we do in the middle of every program, for us to be here, we don't have an honorarium, but we receive an offering so that people can give, not because they have to, but because they want to. And the way that we believe it is this, is that if we have faith for a city, then the people of that city, in an offering, will have faith for our ministry. And the neat thing about this tonight we're going to receive an offering, and I'm not embarrassed. People think, boy, why do you got to receive an offering? I'm not embarrassed to stand here boldly and ask you to give to God tonight. So how many people tonight, when you give, because you want to, not because you have to, when you give tonight, God will reward you. And tonight, parents, when you give tonight, you know what? You're helping the power team. Yes, you are. But I'm telling you something, God will remember you and bring it back to your family. Amen? Ushers, come forward and pass out everybody an offering envelope. Everybody get an offering envelope. Tonight, as you give in this offering tonight, you're casting a vote saying, keep going, power team, keep going. Some people think, well, what should I give? I want you to ask the Lord what you can give. Maybe some give $1, maybe some give $5. Young people don't think anything about going to the movies. Maybe some parents will give up a big night out. Maybe a businessman make an investment into young people. But you ask the Lord what you can give in this offering tonight, and I believe God will bring it back. Unequal gift, but equal sacrifice. Amen? Okay, here we go. Let's pray. Everybody, raise your hand if you don't have an offering envelope. Raise your hand if you don't have an offering envelope. Everybody get one.
I want this ice to represent the devil's house, and we're going through together. Yeah. Tonight I'm going to read a letter. This is a letter that I read, and this broke my heart. But it's actually a victory story at the end, so I want to share this with you tonight. Because a lot of people don't understand the power team. I want to read, this is from a girl from Kentucky, and it says, Dear Power Team, thank you for taking the time
out of your busy schedule to visit Owensboro High School. It's a dream come true to see you after all these years of inspiration that you have been to me. A few years ago, my life fell totally apart. My brother was raping me and abusing me. My parents basically disowned me. I was drinking heavily and using drugs. I tried to kill myself, but worst of all, I was pregnant with my brother's child. I was basically living off the streets. I was ready to give up. Then one day I was at a friend's house and I started watching the Power Team on TV. It was the first time that I'd watched TBN. It was the first time that I'd ever heard anyone talk about Jesus Christ. I was amazed about how I could relate to some of the members, their drug use of the past. However, I did not understand how Jesus could change someone's life so much. I began to get curious about Jesus and started to go to the library to read the Bible because I didn't own a Bible. After about 3 weeks of watching the Power Team, learning about the Bible and hearing the inspirational stories of the members of the team, I went to church for the first time in my life. And she goes on to say, now, I would not trade my life for anything else in the world. I have a beautiful daughter who is almost 4. I'm active in my school. I'm graduating from high school this year. I also have plans to go to college. I've stopped using drugs and alcohol, and I'm also very active in my local church. I love my life now. Once again, thank you for taking the time to come to our school, and it's signed at the bottom, sincerely, Dana.
I thought it was awesome. It was amazing.
Had you seen them before? Because I was your first time.
Yeah, I go to church. Yeah, this is my 3rd time.
Did you see the power? Wow. Great. Every time's better and better.
It is.
And so whoever is, after the boys went up. Did you see this? They went up.
You got your souvenir.
Yeah, I got me a souvenir.
Yeah, did you like the show?
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
Is this the first time you've seen it?
No, I've been here all week.
All week?
I plan to be here tomorrow too.
Wow.
I attend a church, so it's like tradition for me to come to everything.
Great.
So,
Glad you enjoyed it.
yeah, Kendra liked it too, didn't you, Kendra? Been on TV.
I
Didn't
loved
you like
it.
too?
It was great. It was awesome. These 2 guys from my school accepted Christ.
Sweet. Awesome. That's always awesome.
Thank you.